evening and welcome to Information Please, your Peoria Public Library on the air, bring you information about your library and your community. This evening my guest is Stacy Peterson, who's from the Library Programming Department, and I've asked her to come and talk about all the wonderful gallery exhibits plus some January programs. Hi, Stacy.
Hi, Tricia. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
It's that time.
It is, and we've got some great new things coming. We're going to have something really different and really original in January.
We are. This is a new partnership with the library and a kind of a different way that we've used the gallery space than ever before. Normally, we've traditionally been using that space for art and different kinds of artifacts. And this January, we're going to be using this with the Peoria Area Hindu Group. They actually have an incredible touring exhibit. It originated in the UK, so all of these exhibit posters, and there are about 70 of them, are going to be on display, and it's in celebration of one of their, well, what they would consider one of their patron saints. His name is the Swami Vivekananda, and they're actually celebrating his 150th birthday and the impact that he's had on society as a whole.
Well, what did he do that was important?
Well, it's really interesting. He was born through fairly affluent parents, bless you, and decided that he wanted to go to school and didn't at that point in his young teens show any kind of calling to spiritual life. Went through school, both of his parents were educated, and then decided to kind of go and wander. And he wandered for about 5 years. And he had no money because his parents didn't support this idea. And as he did, he met people along the way, and he started developing a very compassionate outlook towards life. And then he came back and started kind of preaching and talking to people in the community. And as a result, his travels were long. There are probably about 10 panels devoted to his travels all over India. And he came over to the United States. He addressed a delegation in the United States, and his impact was so forceful, made such a huge spiritual connection that he managed to bridge cultures from India and the United States. Now, this is somebody who died in 1903, so some of the things that he was bringing over and some of the ideas that he was bringing over may not have been well received, and yet he was teaching theories of compassion and treating other people well, and at the same time bringing over elements of Indian culture.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, we're celebrating his life.
We are going to celebrate his life. We're going to be showing, in addition to this exhibit, which will be nice, we'll be talking about the architecture of India, the cultural impact, art, and the dance. The exhibit is going to be open from the 7th until the 28th. There will be a reception on Saturday the 11th from 1 to 3. And at the reception, we're going to have, light refreshments and drink, but there should be some dancing because there is a dance society in Peoria. They practice dance from the northern half of India, and then quite possibly some Indian music. And then also on display in our cases, we'll have things like saris and elements of everyday life that we may not have privilege to go and see and enjoy and learn about if we don't have those connections in our own personal lives.
Right, and this will be a wonderful chance to be a world traveler right here in Peoria.
It will be, and it'll be nice. It'll be the depths of cold, and it'll be wonderful to think about nice, sunny India, and learning about something in a very nice setting. I can't wait to see the gallery set up this way.
Yeah. It's been a while. We've had some traveling exhibits that had posters, but it's been a while since we've had more of a historical look at something in that space. So that'll be really nice.
This will not be unlike the Fine Romance exhibit that we had, in which we partnered with the Jewish Federation of Peoria, and we had those lovely graphic posters down the middle of the gallery.
Yeah, that traveling exhibit.
Yeah, and then we had the pieces from the members of the Jewish Federation that we put on display to help kind of explain the exhibit and the impact of Jewish culture on the United States.
And it's so wonderful to be able to bring these kind of 3D, experiences to people, because of course we have books, on all of this, and you come and you look and maybe there's something you want to know that never occurred to you.
Yes.
And we'll, have librarians that can help you find those things if it sparks your interest, or if you've read a book and now you want to come in and see what something looks like, in person. That'll be a fascinating experience.
And I think it'll also be very nice because what some people may know, if they peruse our DVDs at any of our branches, we have an enormously large collection of Bollywood and Hindi films.
We do.
And this will be a great way for people to maybe kind of get into this whole genre of film that we have just an extensive collection of wonderful
Yeah.
films. And we don't really have a venue in Peoria where we can see those things
Yeah.
on the big screen. So, wow, what a great time. It's winter. Pick up some DVDs, go home, see
Yeah.
new culture, let it last all month and into the
Yeah.
year.
And of course, we have many people from India living here,
We do.
either working at Caterpillar or something else.
In the
And
medical
in
community.
the medical community, there are, and which is one of the reasons we have a collection of the Bollywood,
Yes.
as it's called. So yeah, great time to experience that. And they're really a lot of fun.
They
I've
are, and
watched quite a few.
Well, and if anybody's ever gone to World Fest, there's India Fest on the riverfront at the end of September, which is a wonderful cultural program. It's only about 6 hours long, but it's a lovely way to spend a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And then we have World Fest at the Civic Center, but those are only a couple of offerings a year.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have another option to celebrate
and,
these
and of course
diverse
it's open
cultures.
from 9 to 6, Monday through Saturday.
Yes,
So plenty of time to see it.
definitely.
But that's only January, and there's 11 more months, and I think you've been hard at work making sure there's something in that space every month. So
We have something
what else
every
is
month.
coming? People want to mark their calendars.
Well, in February, we have an incredible artist. Her name is Trish Williams. She's a fiber artist. She is from Chicago. She's currently the gallery manager of the Romaine Gallery, which is located over on Sheridan Street, at about Sheridan and, I want to say Nebraska. And the Romaine Gallery is owned by Jonathan Romaine. He is an he's an oil and acrylic painter. He travels the nationwide circuit of art fairs. Trish works in fiber, and not only does she create fiber, dye fiber, weave fiber, she creates wearable fiber clothing, the most beautiful coats. She makes dolls, she makes wall hangings and tapestries. And she moved here about a year ago to take over and help Jonathan with the gallery, and we met through some of the art activities that happen in Peoria. And so we thought this would be a really nice way for her to display her work. John's gallery is quite full and scheduled up. So Trish is going to be here. We're going to have a reception on February 8th. And then the second Wednesday at 2 o'clock, we're going to have a gallery walk with the artist herself.
That'll be nice.
That will
That's
be
always
nice.
so nice to be able to talk with the artist about their vision and what they were doing when they created a piece and ask questions.
Yeah, and her work is very diverse. She makes these wonderfully creative dolls. So you're going to have this, not unlike the quilt show that we had before.
Yes.
It's got a lot of general appeal to it, and a lot of ages can come in and really enjoy it. And her colors are just absolutely beautiful. The gallery will look really vibrant during the month of February.
That'll be nice.
That will be nice.
Yeah.
In March, we've got a show called Blue World, Green World, which is actually done with Trish and some of her friends from the Fiber Arts Coalition, many of which are in Chicago. They've never exhibited in Peoria before, so this is an inaugural show for them downstate. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
It will be another exhibit of fiber work. And again, we'll have everything from tapestry to wearable. The reception will be the second Saturday, and then we'll have another gallery walk the second Wednesday at 2 o'clock.
Great. So plenty of opportunities to not only see the exhibit, but get a little deeper into it. And of course, fiber arts, there's another thing we have an enormous collection of books on, whether you want to see what other people have done or do it yourself.
Yes.
And the fiber arts have just exploded here recently, I think.
Yes.
And magazines too. We have so many magazines that you can borrow. You can take them home, borrow them, and peruse all the exciting things you can do with fiber.
We do. Second floor, main library, nonfiction magazines, the
Yep.
place to go. But North has them as well. In April, we have the return of the Congressional Art Show. The reception is tentatively going to be a closing reception first Saturday of May. However, the work will be up starting the second week of April. And
Okay.
these are students from Congressman Schock's district. They come in, they submit pieces through their school, and then we have usually 3 judges who come through, and then they kind of look at the work. They always have a very difficult time.
It is.
And again, the show is viewable anytime Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. Congressman Schock will be at the reception to talk a little bit about the awards, to acknowledge both the teachers and the students, and we're just thrilled to have it. It's the most amount of artwork that we have in that gallery space at any one time.
Yeah, it's incredible, and the level of talent is incredible too. And what happens to the winner?
Well, the winning piece gets to go to Washington, D.C. It hangs in the Capitol for 1 year, and usually the congressman will pick a piece for his office as well. Now, this is really interesting because all districts have the opportunity to exhibit art, to have some kind of art show. But in our district, we've been very fortunate because Congressman Schock has not only made this a priority every year to acknowledge arts and arts education, but he also felt that 3D art was underrepresented. And as far as I know, he is the only congressperson who does a separate 3D art display and judging. And in the past, he's awarded different things like gift certificates to ceramic programs, to work with masters and mentors, or a tour of a ceramic artist studio. So it's really nice to see these young people not only getting the acknowledgement, but furthering their opportunity to create more in the arts and hone their skills.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
That's
and
wonderful.
Exciting, well attended, and can't wait. People ask, people come in and say, when is that high school show?
Oh my gosh, they love that show.
Yes.
It's the most amount of people we ever have in the gallery, too. It gets quite packed for that event. Also, after that, we have another long-standing event, longer than anything with the congressman. The Rennick Art Society, the Rennick Art Show through the Peoria Historical Society is back.
Yes.
It is an incredible event. We will have the reception the Saturday after Mother's Day. I want to say it is the 17th off the top of my head. And again, these...
Well, it'll be on the calendar.
It'll be on the web calendar. It'll be in their Passages newsletter. But we have all kinds of art from all over the state, usually depicting a theme of Central Illinois. Most mediums accept it. I say that because we rarely have any 3D. They just allowed photography last year. But it's
and this is a display that's grown tremendously. It was bigger back when it started in the 40s and 50s. That's how long it's been around. And when it started back then, it was a little bigger, and then as library spaces changed, it shrunk down a little bit. And the Historical Society was kind of undermanned, but now there's so much rejuvenation going on, and with our spectacular gallery space was an invitation to them to fill it, and so they have made vast efforts to make it bigger, better, and we had wonderful things last year.
We did. The show, it upped its ante, so to speak.
Yeah.
After that, in June, we have something that we just referenced, a traveling exhibit. And this one will be incredibly popular. It's Lincoln.
Yes.
And with the anniversaries of the Civil War and all different kinds of things going on, in 2014, acknowledging that, we will not only have the exhibit on display, but we're going to have accompanying programming to help promote this. There's a lot of interest, of course, in our area.
And specifically, this is on Lincoln and the Constitution, which, thinking about, the Lincoln movie that was out recently, and people got to see a really inside look at how Lincoln managed politics and what he went through and did. And so to have this in-depth look at the Constitution, and of course, it's coming in the year when Peoria Reads is reading Warriors Don't Cry, which is about the integration of Little Rock High School. And if you haven't read it yet, it is just gripping. You can't put it down. You can't. We worry now about school shootings and violence, and you go back and look at what happened to these children, and you think, where were the adults? Where was any kind of sanity? What on earth, were people thinking? But different time, different place, and so many sacrifices made, just as the people during Lincoln's time made so many sacrifices. So it's great to be able to focus and think about Lincoln at the end of this year of thinking about civil rights, too.
It is. So. And we've had some wonderful programs partnered with Bradley for some of those.
Yes.
As they will continue into the end of the school year. So that's a good point.
Yes.
Following that, we are going to have the Illinois Art League, another group of local artists. Last year, they exhibited in Peoria Heights during their art fair, but this year they'll be back for another annual exhibit with a prize winner. The Illinois Art League's only requirement is that you be a member of the Illinois Art League, and you don't have to be from Peoria Heights. You can be from anywhere in Illinois. So again, it's as varied as the Rennick Show. We're very happy to have them back. That's
exciting, and they've been around forever. The history of art with the library goes back to the founding days, because there was an art institute, Peoria Art Institute, and that went out somewhere years ago. And then we've got the Illinois Art League that stepped up, and it's just been a long partnership.
Hands down.
And so it's wonderful that once again we have this beautiful gallery where local people can exhibit.
Exactly.
That's always the hard thing for the local people, but that's what we're here for. Is
It's a true community
center.
space. Yeah,
It is. It is.
And we're very fortunate, as you said, to have a long and varied history of arts education, practicing artists, whether it was with the Peoria Women's Club or Lakeview, which then split into Lakeview, the Fine Arts Society, and the Peoria Art Guild. We are going to have some incredible local artists on display the following month, in August. In August, we have Artists of the Atelier. Atelier is a studio space here in Peoria. It was formerly only the studio space of Pierce and Pierce, James and Carrie Pierce. James and Carrie Pierce at one point had their studio where now Wheel Art Studios is located. That's ceramicist Jacob Grant's and Susie Matthews' school and studio. And that's in the old mill building. And James and Carrie bought 2 historic properties on Southwest Adams Street. They converted one into studio space and gallery space. James is a woodworker, Carrie is an oil painter, and they've also opened up this space for visiting artists, for showcasing artists. They mentor quite a few artists. Every month during the First Friday tour, they have a different featured artist who exhibits there. So not only will we have wonderful local art, but Carrie recently just published her first children's book in which she was the illustrator. It's called The Reluctant Butterfly. We will probably have some of those on display as well.
Nice.
They were both trained, they both received their education at SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design, and Carrie's aesthetic is classic in training, very noticeable. Anybody who is involved in the arts community in Peoria are very familiar with not just the work of Pierce and Pierce, but also what they've done to promote the arts in this community. So
Yeah,
that'll be a good
they've done a
show.
great job.
They've done a great job. Really fun to work with. Let's see, that's August. Following August, September, year 2 of 4, Caterpillar.
Yeah.
We have our second set of advertisements on display from the private collection of Mark Johnson. And this year it's going to be very interesting. The ads that are going to be on display are going to be ads that were shown during wartime.
Wow.
So this will be particularly historical because the ads do have direct references to what was going on in the world and how the Caterpillar programs and products not only were going to make the world safer, but you were going to be more patriotic by supporting Caterpillar. So we've had a lot of fun working with Nikki Thaxton, the archivist over at Caterpillar, and there will be another reception for that on September 13th.
That'll be great.
Certain to be a gallery.
Yeah, it's wonderful chance to see not only history, but the history of graphic design even
Yes.
too, how things change. So.
It is. And you know, that's graphic design. Peoria, of course, is a town known for graphic design. This is graphic design before the computer.
Yep.
So it's a whole different ball game. So
Yep.
if you like history, if you like art, if you like graphic design, if you work for Caterpillar, anybody's going to find something interesting. And we'll have the models on display again. People
Yeah.
love those die-cast
Oh
Caterpillar
yeah,
models.
yeah, those are great.
Those are great. October is Illinois Arts and Humanities Month. It's really nice if we can do something during that month again that showcases local artists. We have another husband and wife team that we're going to be showcasing. Ken and Barb Hoffman have been longtime arts
yes.
exhibitors in the community. They don't collaborate together. They both work on separate pieces of art. Barb is a photographer. Ken works not only in collage but in painting, usually using animals as his influence. They have exhibited together a few times, not a whole lot. They usually do solo shows. They do travel down to Texas and to Florida to exhibit their work, but they will both be on display for October. That is going to be an exciting show.
That
They've not
is.
done a collaborative show in a while.
That'll
So
be fun. That'll be a lot of fun.
that will be fun. And anybody who knows, again, local artists, Ken currently holds his studio at the Murray Building, which has been kind of this fantastic studio space for many of our local artists. And then Barb works at the CAC. So that'll be a great show.
Yeah.
And then November and December, it has to
Yep.
be the return of the Veterans Art Exhibit.
Oh yes.
So just like we had Home for the Holidays this year, we will once again be displaying and celebrating the work of veterans, both active and retired, both hobbyists and those who just use art as therapy. So
Yeah.
we welcome everyone to that show. It's a special show for us.
It is, and what was in the gallery last month was just another example of how great our local artists are.
It is.
And what a wonderful chance to be able to celebrate them.
And to acknowledge our local Order of the Purple Heart, for which we've partnered
Absolutely.
with them. They really, their efforts, their work, and the different things that they bring in really help enhance that exhibit. So
Yes.
we love working with them.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think people often hear veterans and art in the same sentence.
Correct.
So it's a different look that, our military are not one-dimensional people. These are people with a lot of depth and do many interesting things.
They do. And we're so honored that they share their work with us.
Yeah. What about music?
Music in the Mackenzie is going to be back this year. I have about
Yay.
8 of the 12 months booked. For people who aren't familiar, we always do one concert a month on a Sunday from 2 to 4 in the Mackenzie Room at the North Branch. And usually it's folk or bluegrass, something a little bit mellow, sometimes a singer-songwriter.
It can't get too loud in the library.
Can't get too loud in the library. I get nervous when I see a drum set show up. But usually they pull out the brushes instead of the drumsticks, and all is good. In January, I'm going to go a little bit off the beaten path, because January in the Midwest, as we both know, it's dreary, it's cold, nobody wants to come out, it's just devastating, you stay at home. So I thought, what would be really fun to bring people out, to give them a taste of summer? And there's a local band called the Brazilianaires. They are absolutely a blast. You've got a lead singer, you've got a flute player, you've got a percussionist, and it's comprised not only of really well-known local musicians. You've got Larry Harms and Carl Bopp, who plays with them. Their lead singer is a woman named Dove Benoit. She is a neurologist, and she loves to lead the band. And then you have H. Wayne Wilson, who's also playing.
Oh, wonderful.
And so, the Rico is what they call him. So it's going to be a fun time. They love to take contemporary or known songs and turn them into samba jazz tunes. They will have their maracas. They will bring a sense of heat and fun and ambiance to the Mackenzie Room like no other. So that's the last Sunday of January from 2 to 4. Come on down, get your samba on, enjoy a little music in the Mackenzie. It'll be great.
Yeah. Got anything else you can tell us about for music?
Well, we've got the Wild Ponies. They'll be coming in February. They were formerly known as a duo called Doug and Talisha, and then they added a gentleman with them. They hail from Virginia, but they have since moved to Tennessee. There's a gentleman named Ray, I want to say his name's Ray Cadbury, who produced their latest album. He has worked with Lucinda Williams and Steve Earle. So they'll be in February. March is pending, but April, anybody who came to see the Waymores last year, the Waymores were comprised of 3 people, singer-songwriters, very established in their own right. The token females, a woman named Sally Barris, she's coming back April 27th for a solo performance.
Oh, nice.
And her voice is exquisite. She's written songs for Trisha Yearwood, Kathy Mattea, Martina McBride, and she can sing just as good as the rest of them. She's just absolutely exquisite. In addition to that, we're going to have a band called the Small Potatoes. It's a duo from Chicago. They've been touring for about 16 years. They've opened for people like Greg Brown and Utah Phillips, and they travel around the Midwest. They'll be coming up. We have the Flatland Harmony Experiment. They're not an experiment. They're 3 guys, a bass player, a banjo, a mandolin, and 1 microphone. They'll be playing later in the year. And then we have, oh my gosh, who else do we have? We've got the Wild Ponies. Boy, it's going to escape me. People will have to check back. Come to the Brazilianaire show. I'll have the whole listing for the year there.
That'll be great. That'll be great.
Fun.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of work to find all those people that can come on a Sunday afternoon. But what I love about music in the Mackenzie is there's so many people who are music lovers that, went to clubs, and they're at a point in their life that gets really hard to do.
It is.
And it's free. That's the great thing. It's free. So people who may have difficulty getting out at night, for either you got kids or you're older and don't drive, Sunday afternoon, it's great time to come in and be comfortable and hear some great music.
And pick up your books and CDs
all
and
at the
DVDs
same
for the
time.
rest of the rest of the week. And these performers donate CDs to us. So if you missed a concert or if you saw a concert you really liked them, look it up in our catalog online or come in and you'll be able to check those CDs out. And luckily these musicians also donate a portion of their sales to our friends of the Peoria Public Library Group. Without them, we couldn't bring this programming to the public.
Yeah, exactly. That's the friends fulfill that purpose of providing the funds. And we should point out that people can help with that by buying used books.
Yes.
Which all of the branches just about have shelves, but the big bookstore The big bookstore is at Main
Motherlode.
Library, yeah. And
Yeah.
right now it's open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday from 1 to 4.
Yes.
But you can always call and ask because sometimes they have special sales or
Mm-hmm.
depending on the volunteers may possibly change the days they're open.
That's true.
But you're buying books for a quarter, $1.
Oh my gosh.
And they raise all that money that helps pay to bring in the musicians, bring in children's programming,
Help with
pay
our
for summer reading.
party.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they're always looking for volunteers,
Always.
always. And so that's a great group to join. And if you don't have time to give, then just get a membership.
Yeah. Get a
Because
membership.
then you get a discount on your books and you've done something to help the library. That's very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Well, we don't have very much time left, just about another minute or so.
Okay.
But real quickly, in January, we also have some other programs.
We do.
And one of the things that's exciting is this is the time of year when the juniors are taking the ACT, SAT. And not only that, but at different branches we have everything from how to finance college to, how to apply for financial aid. And one of those things that's hard to get through to parents who haven't been down that path is you must file the FAFSA form, which is the free application for federal financial aid, whatever. I don't remember what they stand for, but you can't, they go, oh, well, we're not going to get financial aid, we're going to get a scholarship. But you can't get a scholarship unless you file that first.
Paperwork.
Because the colleges want to make sure that you're not eligible for something from the federal government before they give you their very limited funds. So we don't have much time left here, but real quick, we're doing Raspberry Pi, those little tiny computers you buy for $25 and then put it together yourself. It's just a little board.
Yep.
Great chance to find out about Raspberry Pi. And then Minecraft, which is all the rage with the middle
All the
school
rage.
group. And we're going to have 4 Saturdays when you can play straight for 4 hours. This is meant for beginners. If you haven't played before, come eat pizza, learn, catch up with your friends, do Minecraft.
That's right.
And then, of course, we're closed Monday, January 20th for Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. But we'll have lots of programs to celebrate him. So
Yeah.
thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
You can catch up on all those programs and all the wonderful art and music on PeoriaPublicLibrary.org on the web, or subscribe to our e-newsletter and have that delivered to your mailbox. Pick up a paper passages. There's lots of ways to find out what's going on. Just call us or ask a librarian at the desk. We'll see you next week on Information Please.